Друзья, здравствуйте. Спасибо, что вы пришли.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming here and listening to me.
Меня зовут Андрей Синицын, я работаю в компании «Озон», и мы делаем
I work in Ozone. My name is Andrei Sinitsyn, and we do work on the platform. That is to say, we provide service that all Ozone services use. More than 2,000 product teams live on our platform. Okay, so I am the manager, I have the button in hand, and I'm responsible for everything. My experience in the industry is over 20 years. I started with development. For about 7-8 years ago, I switched towards management, and right now I am in charge of rather large commands, large teams. Okay, I was introducing Kubernetes in 2016. Why am I saying all this? I've gone through thousands of, well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of incidents, small, big, difficult, not difficult. And I have discovered several principles that I adhere to and want to share with you. I want to tell you about the blameless culture. This is a world-known term. And this term is actually old. It was born at the end of the 80s in medicine, where a mistake can cost somebody life. I mean, we can make mistakes, our production will drop, our company will lose money. If a plane drops down, that's very, very sad. So the principles of the blameless were developed during the early 2000s by DevOps veterans, the guys who did a lot for this, and so they came up with the blameless culture. So I'd like to share with you my main thought. Difficult system cannot work with failures, okay? You cannot map out thousands and thousands of microscams communication. There will be some defects sooner or later. Sooner or later, some traffic will cause incidents. So blameless culture is an approach which treats mistakes and failures as an educational opportunity rather than punishing. You know the theory of dynamic chaos, the three-body problem and all that, don't you? The dynamic chaos is born by high sensitivity of the system. You see here the pendulum, two-stage pendulum right now, represented on the screen. On the right side, the initial value has been shifted with 0.1, and already we see the difference in the working. The same refers to the productions with lots of services, with servers, lots of microprocessors. They will be sensitive. Okay, you had a conflict and you had to take care of. You changed the value of something by a little bit, and potentially that can take your system out of balance. So it is not possible to build a system with a large number of communications and interactions without a mistake. So when you start developing the system, when you start supporting and maintaining it, you have to be ready for mistakes. Mistakes will happen and incidents will happen. And you have to be ready specifically if you are a manager. So the approach that I'm sharing with you today will help you to keep your team together. I think this is a managerial approach, but I'm sure it will be interesting for everybody. So my task as a manager is to help the team to cross over all bridges. All right, so blameless culture. We transform mistakes into development. Okay, some of the positions I close HR-wise for half a year. It's very hard to find a skilled specialist today. So when you lose a specialist like that, if you lose a loyal employee, this is harmful for the company or for the business. So you have to create the environment of comfort. This will increase the productivity, loyalty, and trust. You have to understand that blameless culture does not mean no punishments. There is always responsibility, and as engineers, as anybody who loves their profession, responsibility is a key thing. I love my profession. I like to do things well. And you have to understand that if I don't blame anybody, if we're all friends, it doesn't mean that there is no responsibility. If somebody makes a mistake, they have to pay for it. If it's B2C, it's okay. It's just lost money. It's not as bad as it looks. If it's B2B, then it's a lot of loss, financial loss. I worked with one of the federal ministries, and I took part in the drafting of the contract, and I can tell you that there is a lot of money, a lot of pennies to pay. So this should not happen. We're all grown-ups. We'll understand that, and once I was telling the story, and there was a guy, let's call him Vasily. Vasily thought that this is how he can behave, okay? So he didn't do all the tests and everything, so he basically failed. So we could offend, let's put it this way, Vasily really badly, but we were basically using my approach, and we were able to resolve the situation. So responsibility is the key here. It's not something that you're paid for. No, it's the feeling that should be inside you as an engineer, as a production manager, and you have to understand the responsibility will always be breathing at your neck. All right, so let's talk about the approach, traditional approach. Okay, any mistake has a name and the last name. This is the Soviet school: to find, to detect, to I don't know, to humiliate publicly and everything. Everybody knows that when you are humiliated publicly, it kind of makes the team more solid, right? Okay, so this is the old approach. No, I don't think it's too good. So the traditional approach focuses on punishment. There's always somebody to be punished. And this is not just a single example. You know, this is how people are made. When I punish somebody, I transfer the responsibility, okay? So it's not my fault, it's his fault. My approach is 180 degrees different, reverse. The team's mistake are my mistake. Because with an approach like this, does not allow you to learn, to use the mistakes for learning, okay? Not a single test, none of the stories that you meant. I mean, you cannot go through all the production, which is housed by 10,000 services. Okay. Now let's talk about the blameless approach. The focus is on learning, so we transform mistakes into learning opportunities, and that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. When we're kids, we go to a playground, okay, to a sandbox. You know, we play around, we make mistakes. A child can stick his fingers into a socket. This is all okay. This is maturing. The same applies to an engineer, from his first steps to senior engineer, and so on and so on. So a senior engineer has been into the incidents like that 35 times in his life already. He kind of stuck his fingers into the socket for 35 times before, so he knows what to expect. We talk about openness and transparency. It's important not to be afraid to say that something is broken, that something doesn't work, that somebody made a mistake. So that's why we go through support and trust. A small picture which kind of summarizes the first section. Let's talk about the human nature. Okay, all of us are subject to cognitive deviations. Google it, cognitive deviations. There are more than 150 cognitive deviations. What are they? There are a certain pattern of behavior when person starts behaving irrationally. There is a wonderful book which says, think slowly, decide quickly. In 2002, the guy who wrote it got a Nobel Prize because he proved that when the decision is difficult, human beings stop acting rationally. So basically, there doesn't exist a guy who always decides correctly, who always trusts the graphs, okay, who always trusts the numbers. There are no people like that on Earth, believe me. This is objective truth. That's why that guy who wrote that got the Nobel Prize. We are subject to cognitive deviations, and there are 4 major ones that I'm going to address. I had an incident once. There was a guy, Dmitry, in my team who made a significant error. He made a config error. And the first reaction was like, oh, guy, okay, you fucked up again, Dmitry. Okay, Dmitry, again, Dmitry. Probably Dmitry has had some background. Well, when we started looking into this, we realized that Dmitry had nothing to do with it. Okay, so the configuration was difficult and nobody wouldn't be able to do it without mistakes. Interestingly enough, when another person made the same mistake after a time, he said that, oh, it's very difficult, I was tired and everything, so please don't blame me, I did a good job. This is called the fundamental error of attribution. This is one of the deviations that I'm sure you feel all the time. What does it mean? It means that somebody's errors are always explained by lack of competence, whereas if we make mistakes our own, we always invoke circumstances as to blame. You know, it happens in the family, it happens in work, it happens with your friends. Okay, let's take another example. An engineer called Paul, okay, dropped the service and he said, oh, it's in the database, okay, because yesterday we renewed the version, we did all the config, it's the database. So everybody goes into the database to find for the error, for the solution. They stick there for an hour and 2, then come out and they say, oh, everything's good. So basically, then what happens next? Basically, somebody else discovers that the error was in the routing rules, okay? The second cognitive deviation is the bias. People will stick to their explanation. It's bias. And you can meet this in sociology really often. If you read English and read sociological papers, people are sort of apt to defend their own point of view. It has to do with the stock exchange, with any political events, and our work as well. So this is really important. Let's keep it in mind. Okay, again, we had a large-scale fuck-up, everything dropped down, and post-mortem engineers and managers started digging into it. And they say, oh, it was obvious. Wasn't it obvious that we needed to do backup here? We had to distribute something here. No, it was not obvious. If everything had been obvious, we would have bought Bitcoin in 2008. Okay, raise your hand. Who of you bought Bitcoin in 2008? Oh, just one person. My congratulations. Okay, so this is the backhand knowledge, so to speak, right? We all have great backhand knowledge. Okay, especially if you have a CEO over you who comes down to your office in order to scream at you. There are managers like that, we all know them, they can't be ignored. So, you have to ignore this cognitive deviation, nothing will happen. And the final cognitive deviation I want to bring your attention to, okay, let's say there was a renewal, a new version, everything was good, but almost good. There was just one mistake which was taken care of simply. And that little mistake had nothing to do with the difficulty of the system, with the tight schedule that we respected and everything. So this is the force of negative perception. That is to say, we are apt to give more weight to negative events, overlooking the positive. when it comes to me, I always focus at what the guys did well. My team, issues 2,000-3,000 releases per day. Some of them are simple, but some of them require a lot of work. So when I participate in things like that, I always try to encourage my guys, and I tell them, good job, good job. And if something is not right, it's okay. It's a big volume of work. It's okay. We'll take care of it. Okay, so now let's switch to the practical side of it. Later on, I'll address how to solve the incidents, but right now, we'll talk about the behavior. So an incident is the most traumatizing thing. Any SRE, any DevOps knows that if production drops, we have to answer the phone calls, we have to be online, we have to start finding the solution. So when an incident happens, I use the following approaches. All right? Instead of asking somebody to blame, we start looking for what to do. Okay, we try to understand what happened and how it could be done. It's good if you have the devil's advocate in your team, somebody who will sort of lead you astray on purpose. This should be a guy with iron balls, excuse me, and we need a guy like that in the team so that the team would not fall into the cognitive deviation that I was addressing before. Okay, we have to keep the whole landscape in mind. So we don't say, oh, who is to blame? We say, oh my goodness, what a wonderful fuck-up it was, right? But this phrase should be pronounced with a different tone of voice. That's very important. Please do not insult your colleagues, because you have to realize your colleagues are all stressed at this moment, at the moment of incident. I used to work in a company when 1 minute lag used to cost as a 2-bedroom apartment in Moscow. Okay, at the time. So when fuck-ups happened, everybody was stressed, and we had to work, and we had to resolve them. So how do we do that? All right, each incident is an opportunity to learn more about your system, to learn more about the bottlenecks. I'll share a personal story with you. I was working in a startup. So we bought a small Chinese developer at the time, and we had to bring their service to us. They had the configs for 10,000 strings with the Chinese comments. The Google Translate somehow didn't work at the time. I did not understand why we need to look this up, because everything worked the way it was. Okay. So the financial director calls me in a month and says, Andrei, we're billed $100,000. Do you know what this is for? I say, no. What is this for? What's this? He says, for traffic. So we go there, we go to this server. I'm not going to indulge you with the technical details, but this service was burning the traffic like hell. And that's why we were billed $100,000. Okay, what could have I done? Sell my organs? No? No, but none of my organs would be enough to cover the bill. Okay, I said. And then my director, Dmitry Shkolnikov, if you are watching me, thanks a lot for everything you've done in my life. He said, Andrei, your learning curve just cost us $100,000. Do something about it, okay? Stop weeping, stop crying like a baby. So I went and did something about it. Okay, I went to a seminar. I dug into that traffic thing on top of my work, and I was able to bring down the cost of the company by 15%. So at the end of the year, we were actually on the upside, and I wasn't given a bonus. So why am I saying this? Because you have to have commitment. If there is no responsibility on the level of a specific engineer, it doesn't mean that there is no responsibility as such. There is connection between you and the business, you and your employee. And this responsibility, this connection should be much more than your labor contract. It should be normal human relations. All right. So I will tell you now how we take care of incidents in Ozone. So what is an incident? Incident is basically is a breach of service contractual service provision. We have an incident line that calls me, and it has a wonderful young girl's voice that says, "Hello, this is an incident, you have to take care of it." My wife was not happy when she picked up the phone at night. She thought it was somebody, I shouldn't be around with. So what can happen? Loss of data. There is a loss of data. It hurts, but it's not the worst thing. We all do backups, so today losing data doesn't happen that often. All right. The second factor that will give us damage is the user experience degradation. Okay, so they all collect metrics, KPIs, and everything, and we can really degrade the user's experience with one incident. I don't think we have a single app right now, maybe taxi, Yandex Taxi, I think it was in February or March, they had a mistake. So they started charging people 500 times more. So you never tie your credit card to a service like this. Of course, they gave all the money back, but the people were in trouble. People lost money, but then Yandex Taxi lost money as well. And of course, there are reputational losses. And the reputational losses, at least in my book, are the most terrible because the competition is very high. So how does an incident happen? Okay, everything goes well, the users are using, the monitors are monitoring, everything is good. So it's important to understand that SRE people are not responsible for everything never to break. No, SRE people responsible for repairing something quickly if something breaks. So let's say something breaks, there is an incident, you cannot work normally, there is some kind of degrading, there is kind of damage. It's great if we found out this from our monitoring guys or monitoring system. It means that our monitoring system is very apt. It's much worse if we learn about that from the users. Okay, the business actually is the last, is the least flexible system in this regard. I will address this a little bit later. So what happens next? So we collect a team that has to take care of the incident. SRE product guys, basically any people who understand what was going on and can help you. You have to have a coordinator, okay? A coordinator is somebody who does not take part in the technical work. He is in charge of the timeline. He connects with the clients. He rotates the people. Incidents cannot always be resolved within 2 hours. Sometimes it takes days and even more days. So sometimes it is useful to change people so that those people who have been doing this for 12 people wouldn't go mad. I mean, I've gone through this. I understand what I'm talking about. So sometimes there is only one person can resolve the issue. Even in this case, the coordinator should, let him go have a smoke break, eat or sleep for 15 hours. Okay, it's not incident problem manager. We're not looking for the reason. We have to close, we have to resolve the incident. Our task right now is to bring the system back. And the people who can do that are responsible for that. So all of this is happening. So people are working, you trust everybody, the coordinator is communicating with the outside world, including business side, and he tells them what is going to happen. At the same time, he's keeping the time log. It is very important to write down everything that is happening, because the information is hot during the incident. In 12 hours, you will forget 50% of the info. Tomorrow, nobody will recall anything, and you will never be able to figure out what happened. problem. Okay, you can't do that to people. So a coordinator should be somebody who understands what's going on. He cannot be the product guy or a designer. It's a guy who is not afraid to talk to the business side of the company. Okay. Okay, so let's say the incident is over. Okay, we resolved it, we let everybody go. So the most important thing is the next thing. Right? Vladimir Vitkovsky told you how this happens in our company, in Ozone. Look it up. A post-mortem meeting is the most important part. Okay, so this is where incident manager switches to problem management. During the previous phase, we were taking care of the problem. So post-mortem meeting is the search for the root cause, for the reason of the problem, and for the actions to be taken for this never to happen again. In our company, a type of incident can only happen once. Anybody in our company can fuck up once, okay, with any collateral damage, but it should not happen again. Okay, so post-mortem is a very important thing. Don't procrastinate about it, okay? Don't do it just for the meeting's sake. No, you have to realize that this is very important for yourself, for your business, and for your team. What is happening during the post-mortem? Well, we see some action. We go through the backlogs. These tasks have the highest priority, action items. Why? Because if this is not done, an incident can't repeat itself. Well, perhaps the SRE right now is doing something with the prods, is cleaning some logs and everything. Yeah, so this has to be done quickly. We have to conduct an investigation, a deep analysis of what has happened. Again, not to blame somebody, but rather to understand the root cause. I know that Yandex right now has their own SRE GPT. It does the root cause analysis. Facebook has the same thing. Facebook discovers 47% only. Yandex discovers 80%. This is great. This is tough. So basically, they've invented a tool which helps people with this. It's like a detective story. You're digging into the product in order to understand what had happened. And as I mentioned before, do not blame people. Do not look for somebody to blame. People will try to hide what had happened, okay? They will not tell you anything. And again, this is a potential reason to repeat the incident in the future, okay?
Action items are very important, and they have to be worded in the right way. I already addressed the tone of voice and choice of words, all right? Try to keep emotions out. Don't throw fuel into the fire. Start with the verbs. To do this, to do that, to maintain this, to roll out this, to repair this. Okay, and this is very easy for everybody. Okay, and it's wonderful to use kind of the end result concept. This is a slide for those who like to take pictures. This is good, this is bad. I'm not going to read this. You can read through that yourself. And mention that there are verbs that start all the sentences. Okay, external communication is also important. Who shall you tell about what happened? And not only SRE, everybody should be ready about that. Okay, you should give details, okay, to everybody, to the whole team. Somebody will learn more about their own system.
And the managers and the businesses, you want to talk about the money, the metrics, about what went up, what went down. They don't care about the technicalities. They care about the numbers that they can use in their strategies and somehow use them in calculations. You can also make messaging for the company, and it will be external communication for the company. So you'd better run it by by the PR. If not, then you just write about the incident, no details. We are great. We are doing the right things. As to the tone of voice, let's talk more about that. Let's avoid the words like catastrophe or the human error. Mr. Ivanov did something wrong. So something went down or up. You don't hide the problem. You shouldn't polish it or garnish it. Everything went down, but we fixed the coffee machine. Probably you shouldn't do that. You should say things as they are and never give exact names. This is bad. This demotivates people because you are working with the people. I hire people to work with them for years. I don't want to hire a person for 6 or 12 months. I want to work with people for 5 years. I want to have barbecues with them and baptize their children. So I never want to make them a scapegoat. As how do you do that? And let's try to talk about how you can do that. So bottom up and top down, a good mix. There should be somebody from the top management who should get involved, and the bottom up, the person who should drive this from the bottom. And this is how it works. And somewhere on the brink between these two, the culture will change. Show the numbers, the churn rate, the damage from the incidents and MTCR metrics, and the business will respond well if you can sell it well. And I'm sure that probably this cannot be done by file and rank engineer. This is somebody with the higher status in the company and who can sell it to their businesses. Start small. You don't want to do it for the whole company. You start with the small things. No, you work with a small incident, and through continuous improvements and post-mortems, you will drive the effort. And you need an ambassador, definitely, the person who will get a lot of things to do, but who will anyways will continue being involved, engaged, and care, and who at the end of the day will drive your IT and your production to the bright future. Okay. Now let's talk finally about what I was talking about. This is a huge slide. There will be a lot of things there. So introduce the post-mortems. I love continuous processes, not just continuous integration and delivery. I improve documentation. I plan continuous processes with the people. It's about continuity. You do something day in, day out so that it rolls out, and have regular trainings. In our zone, we include the central office and see what is happening. And at the beginning, we saw that we lost a lot of money. We exercise regularly. Now we can recover in 3 minutes for a huge marketplace. This is great. And at the same time, we are also doing the workloads to test our robustness. And you should avoid chaos. You should have a facilitator, and this person will stop those who want to shout, will ask questions, and will make sure that postmortems are useful, and do the audit of the complexity of your system. You will will not be able to do it in one go. And it's great if it is a continuous process run every 6 months. And there should be high complexity areas that you look at on a regular basis and develop a plan to reduce this complexity. Ask the what and how instead of who and why. This is about the tone of voice. And separate the processes in problem management and incident management. They are very different, both very important. Incident management is the process when we repair what is broken. We are not looking for reasons why it is broken. We don't make communications for the business, and there are a lot of things we don't do. Our main task is to fix. This is an alarm, and the principles are different there. And there is the coordinator who is the manager, and they will untangle this. And then we will talk and identify the reasons. But those are two separate processes. First you fix, and then you investigate the reasons. And it would be great to tell people about the cognitive biases, have a small lecture, probably invite somebody, probably you can invite on your own, probably invite somebody, so that your whole team would understand what is happening about cognitive biases and why people respond differently under stress. And I have also prepared certain things for you to investigate, like Etsy is a well-known company, and they have the code of postmortem, and postmortem culture is also very useful. And when June dropped and they launched their stream, and they did it in a live stream, and they improved their reputation in an engineering community for the company, like GitLab, which is about engineers, and Google also writes about postmortems, and T-Zone. Probably it's not a lot to use, but you can learn a lot of new words there, and this could be a good start for the story. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And here is the QR code for my Telegram channel, and make sure that you investigate it further. Okay, we have mics to the left and to the right. You can walk over and start asking questions. This is strange if there are no questions. Okay, I have the following question. Did it ever happen that you dropped something for a week or two, and then when small incidents happened, the management was in the know and they said it's just fine? Who mean doing it on purpose? No, we never did it on purpose. So I don't think it ever exists. If you do it to improve your worth in the organization, I don't think this is the right thing to do. Or probably I didn't get the question right. Thank you. Any further questions? You can ask anything, not necessarily about business. You can ask me about anything. I'm very open. Probably I covered it all really well, so there are no questions. Okay, great. Thank you. There is yet another question. Thank you. It was an exciting presentation. And so how can one implement that in an organization? Because I don't think they will like all of this talking when you tell this to the management. How can you get it across to the top management? You can look at it from the business perspective. If there is a business foundation, if it is a critical process, and every incident takes days and weeks, then you can tell the business, we are going to save money. We are going to improve the efficiency of the business, improve the user experience. So there should be a person with a headache who will say, I want to do that. I want to pull it off. I will change it. There should be some will to do it. And this person should start getting some data. There is mental mean time to recovery. This is a good metric. This is how fast you recover after the incident. From the beginning of the incident until we say everything is good and green, we're good to go. And this has a direct impact on the money because any incident loses money for the business. And if you say that I'm going to reduce this time, save money, prove it, or you select a small incident where you could show that and also come up with some other metrics, talk to the business about the things that really hurt. And once again, this is my motto. SRE is about trust. So you trust the business, they trust you. You work in the network. I'm a team lead. So let's look at the numbers. Let's talk. Probably we can pull it off better. It's about the culture. All the cultural changes go through talking, through persuasion, through selling your ideas to the people who are making decisions. This is not simple. You cannot come and say, tomorrow everyone is going to live in a new way. Probably it won't work the second or the first time. This is something you have to change. It's like an engineering culture. I was in a company where people were pushing, they didn't do atomic commitment, and they gave the ad hoc names to the servers. And this is about the engineering culture. You cannot change it overnight. You have to start the process and work on it on a regular. And after some time, people will thank you for that. Any further questions? Thank you for this. I have this question. You mentioned that this should be in the DNA, in the genes, in terms of the commitment. And what should we use? Should we use genetic engineering or selection? How do we get the right people? I'm for genetic engineering, but unfortunately, the current level of science doesn't allow us to do that. So you have to be able to talk. I have a number of questions that I ask. For example, I suggest they discuss the incident. For example, with Kafka, this is what happened, and what would you do? And sometimes it takes 60 to 90 minutes, and then I will understand. Probably they are a great communicator and not a great engineer, but I try to hire the people with whom we are on the same page. I am always on the phone, on my laptop, and it's not written in my work contract. And anyways, the whole team cares, and they all resolve any incident. Okay, line up, and I have a question. Can you, I'm a system administrator, and my boyfriend doesn't understand that I'm married to my work. How do I explain to my family that getting up in the middle of the night, it's not that the company is going down, but because it is my duty, because I care. There is no recipe for this. You can leave a boyfriend. Or you can leave your job. I explained it to my girlfriend this way. Now, ozone is out of service, but once I fix it, you will be able to buy something. So it's not that you have to fix something at work, but you have to sit down and talk in your good moment. You have to say, I'm responsible for very important productions, and millions of people use my products, and millions of people will be upset. Something like that. Or leave your job. Okay. Thank you for the presentation. It was exciting. Actually, I support this ideology in one of the companies. We used this. And then what happened? I came to work for another company, and it's not all that simple. And you can move things and it looks like it is fine. But what about the ambassador? How do you identify this champion, this ambassador in the business who will support your cause? And I believe this is an issue because I tried to talk to some leaders, managers, but they were not happy to talk and they didn't want to provide any support. Yeah, ambassadors are always hard to get. You cannot really nourish and grow them from scratch. This should be a person who cares, and 80% of the people will get the same result. But let's look at this from the side of the business. I'm making money. I'm a business person. I did my own business. I made money, and I have a different headache. I don't know what happens. If there's something breaks, I will go and punish until it is broken. I'm not interested. And they will not go and dig. So you have to sit down and you should hammer this idea into their heads, win their attention, etc. There is no single algorithm. All the companies would be talkers and we would be flying around like Yandex, and everyone would kiss our asses. No, an ambassador is a person who is a person, although they get a lot of kicks and bruises, they still go ahead. And at the end of the day, they will succeed. So this can be done through will, I guess. And the business loves numbers. So try to show it in money terms, because if you tell the business people you can save money, they will hear the bottom line and they will listen in. One more question. Thank you very much for the presentation. You are allowed to ask any questions. I work in the Security Operations Center, and we provide security monitoring to external clients. It's always clear who did something. It's always some evil guy outside, and our client did not watch things properly, and we see typical issues. But what should we do? There is a customer who brought a lot of money to us, but they are not us. I cannot really impact them. When I don't have real power over them, over the customer, how do I tell them they are wrong? Make your own. You mean by a big customer? There is some limited communication from your side and from the customer side. You have to strengthen this communication, and you should add some pleasant things there so that you talk more. No one cares about somebody else's money, but probably it will not work 100%, probably not in exactly the same shape and form. Probably you will have to find some out-of-the-box solution in in Ozone, we're making our platform and we have our own tools. We write everything ourselves, no vendor solutions, because only Ozone knows how to make Ozone. No consultant integrator knows how to do that, because we have our skin in the game. If you really have the skin in the game with this customer, make part of the business you own and start building on this. Thank you. And the last question. Hi, thank you very much for the presentation. My question is like this. In my company, there is an incident. DevOps are trying to figure out what happened, are trying to make it fly. And the technical support post the incident are writing absurd things. So we have the issue because of the external service, but initially they suspected that we had an issue and technical support, although we are in the chats together. The help desk writes something or diametrically different, and they would send this to the customer. And when we started looking at this, we are still dealing with the results. I don't really know how to understand to the technical experts that they have to think about what they're writing, because they wrote sometimes they wrote a click and sometimes a click house, and this person does not really understand that they are the same thing, and they could have written the ClickHouse databases because the report looks really incompetent, and so does our company. What would you advise? Write the reports yourselves. That's what we do. But I was not hired for writing reports. Okay, the golden point. That's what I was talking about. Make an extra mile, make an extra step over what you said. If you have a headache, you are explaining to the tree that they shouldn't write like that. Do that at the beginning. You do 2 or 3 reports, then you will come up with a process that will improve things. Yeah. So then the other experts from the help desk stepped in, but then everyone comes over and says, you are a weak DevOps team. I start reading the report and I'm shocked. And sometimes the top managers believe we're weak, and then my manager tells them that we were not the problem. So for you, it is the headache. You know you are strong, so take this function from them. If you are strong, take it away from them. And they're chilling out, and I'm working night. Look at you. Don't look at others. For me, I sat with the top managers in December during the incidents because of the high workload, and I sit there and make the report with them. And the person who was supposed to do that, he wrote to me, I am here with my wife and I'm making a barbecue. But you become a better than them. I am irritated because I cannot influence that. You can. You can write it, but then I will write that all my life. Then build a process around that. So what do you want to hear? Kill them, something like that. No, no, I want a black bus. I would write that myself. That's exactly what we are doing. Okay, thank you very much. What was the best question? I really liked the question the last speaker asked. Here is a book for you. Thank you very much. Thank you.